here. Is my screen is visible properly?
Screen is visible, yeah.
Okay. I'm just trying to see how to expand it. Okay, this is bigger now. I will. We can recite this one 45, 46 together. Then 44, 45, 46. I will do it. Kasyapa vacha krita sokanutapena sadya pratyavamarsana bhagavati urumanacha bhave maya pichadara putrasya cha putranam bhavitaika satam mata gashyanti yad yaso suddham bhagava yasasa samam. Kashyapa vacha krita sokanutapena sadhya pratyavamarsana bhagavati urumanatmanacha bhave mai api chadara putrasya cha putranam bhavitaika satam mata gasyanti yat yaso suddham bhagava yasasa samam. Kashyapa vacha krito sokanupatena sadhya pratyavamarsana bhagavati urumanacha bhave maya pichadara putra saiva cha putranam bhavitaika satam mate gasyante yat yaso suddham bhagavan yasasa samam. Please recite.
Kashyapa uvacha krita shokanutapena sadhya pratyavamarshanat bhagavatyrukmanacha bhave mayapi chadarat putrasyaiva cha putranam bhavitaika satang mata gasyanti yadyasha shuddham bhagavad yashasha samam.
Kasyapa uvacha kritya sokanutapena sadhai pratyavamarshanath bhagavatyaivurumanascha bhavamayapi chadarat putra saiva cha putranam bhavitaika satam mata gashyanti yadyasha suddham bhagavat yasasha samam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Kashyapa uvacha krito shukanutapena shraddha patraya bharmarshanat bhagavati uru manascha cha bhave mai api chadarat putra shaiva cha putranam bhavataika satam mata gashyanti yad shaha shuddham bhagavat yashasha samam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Kashyap uvacha kritishokanutapena sadhya pratyavamarsanat bhagavatya urumanacha bhave mai api chadarat putra seva cha putranam bhavitaikaha shatam mataha Kasyanti yad yasha shrutam भगवते यशसा समम्. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So we will do the synonyms. Is that okay? Yeah. Because we have one more verse. Sorry, I'm making it quick. Kashyapa Vacha, the learned Kashyapa said, Krita Soka, having lamented, Anutapena, by penitence, Sadhya, immediately, Pratyavamarsanat, by proper deliberation, Bhagavati, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Uru, great, Manat, adoration, Cha, also, Bhave, unto Lord Shiva, Mai api, unto me also, Cha, and Adarat, by respect, Putrasya, of the son, Eva, certainly, Cha, and Putranam, of the sons, Bhavita, shall be born, Eka, one, Satam, one of devotees, Mata, approved, Gasyanti, will broadcast, Yat, of whom, Yasa, recognition, Suddham, transcendental, Bhagavat, of the personality of Godhead, Yasasa, with recognition, Samam, equally. Translation: the learned Kashyapa said, because of your lamentation, penitence, and proper deliberation, and also because of your unflinching faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and your adoration for Lord Shiva and me, one of the sons, Prahlad, Prabhupada writes, one of the sons, Prahlad, of your son, Hiranyakashipu, will be an approved devotee of the Lord, and his fame will be broadcast equally with that of the personality of Godhead. They know proper to it. We'll do that 46. Yogarhemeva durbenam bhavayisyanti sadava niveradibhiratmanam yachilam anuvartitum. In order to follow in his footsteps, saintly persons will try to emulate his character by practicing freedom from animosity. Just as the purifying processes rectify the gold of inferior quality. Purport: yoga practice, the process of purifying one's existential identity, is based mainly on self-control. Without self-control, one cannot practice freedom from animosity. In the conditional state, every living being is envious of another living being. But in the liberated state, there is an absence of animosity. Prahlad Maharaj was tortured by his father in so many ways. Yet, after the death of his father, he prayed for his father's liberation by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He did not ask any benediction that he might have asked, but he prayed that his atheistic father might be liberated. He never cursed any of the persons who engaged in torturing him at the instigation of his father. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimrandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksharanmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namne. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirbhisesa Sunyavadi Paschat Desatarne. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Good morning. Welcome everyone. I would like to seek blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas, senior Vaishnavas. This is a very wonderful discussion, and not discussion by Kashyap Muni. It's a great news that he is glorifying Diti now. He says, because of your lamentation, penitence, and proper deliberation, And also because of your unflinching faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, your adoration for Lord Shiva and me, one of the sons of your son will be approved devotee of the Lord, and his fame will be broadcast equally with that of the Personality of Godhead. So we read actually how Diti was unable to control herself, insisted Kashyap Muni to beget the children, and at an inauspicious time, mistakes can happen. Everyone is under the three modes of material nature. One is compelled to do, fails to control. But everyone does the mistake. And especially here, Prabhupada also in the second verse, in essence, every living being is envious of another living being. Yeah. So mistakes, living entity is prone to commit mistake. The four shortcomings of living entities, we have it, right? We have imperfect senses. Because our senses are imperfect, we get illusioned. And because we get illusioned, we commit mistake. Then, consequently, what we do, we try to cover ourselves. We try to cover ourselves. Cheating, we cheat others. No, this is the symptoms of conditioned souls in this material world. So interestingly, Diti, even though Diti has committed some mistake, but she has lamented, and she here, as Kashyap Muni says, that because of your lamentation, she was not arrogant. She did not deny it. But at the same time, she had a lot of faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And she also offered prayers that my Lord Shiva is not upset because of this act. She has this Devi guna also, we can say. She has this Devi guna as well. And now Kashyap Muni, because of this quality, because of this behavior, your adoration for Lord Shiva and me, you will beget, not you will beget, your son will beget. Who? Even the Hiranyaksha, they'll be like, the worst of demons. They will appear. They will born worst of the demons, but they will be killed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, because of your such qualities, behavior, he will be bestowed, or you will be bestowed with a grandson, saintly grandson, Prahlad. And he, not only that, he will be an approved devotee of the Lord. Basically, he's going to be a Mahajana. Approved devotee is like a Mahajana, the 12 Mahajanas will go through it. That his fame will be broadcast equally with that of the Personality of Godhead. This is a great benediction. Now, whenever we recite, we remember Nrsimhadev, we remember Prahlad. I didn't see it, but sometimes devotees said Prahlad Maharaj's name has been mentioned so many times, highest number of times in Srimad Bhagavatam. Some devotee mentioned. I didn't do check on it, but we know the whole 7th canto is glorifying Prahlad Maharaj actually, even though it's glorifying Nrsimhadev. The glorification of the Lord and his devotees goes simultaneously together. Wherever the devotees are there, the Lord Krishna is present and is glorified. Machita Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam. Now all the devotees, they talk about Krishna or subjects related to Krishna. Whole Srimad Bhagavatam was inspiring each other. Maitreya Muni is getting inspired by Vidura by constantly seeing Vidura's enthusiasm to hear about Lord Krishna. Same way, Vidura is getting inspired very much by hearing the glories of Lord Krishna from Maitreya Muni. You know, as Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj is devotee and the Lord. Very much cannot be separated. And as Lord Krishna says, my devotees dwell in my heart, I dwell in their heart. They don't know anything else. That's why they're very dear to me. He mentioned this to Durvasa Muni. When Durvasa Muni approached Lord Vishnu to, seeking for help, he said that, please help me because of your, this Sudarshan Chakra is chasing me. And Lord Vishnu said, okay, I cannot do much. I cannot do much. You have to take shelter of my devotee. If he forgives, then everything will be all right. So in this way also, in Prahlad Maharaj has been glorified because in spite of so much tormentation he went through, it's not small thing. So much torment. We also have, sometimes we have little forgiving nature, and after once or twice, and we show our original form, anger form, and maybe we can curse and we can take revenge. And Prahlad Maharaj is so interesting, in spite of going through all this, and he knows that his father is the cause of all his tormentation. But in Bhagavad Gita, we learn, mind is one's enemy and mind is one's friend. So people who know this, they will not blame. In fact, blaming others has been condemned. I forget where we read that. Blaming others, saying the others are the cause of my pain and pleasure, has been condemned. I forgot where we read it. Yeah. So Prahlad Maharaj, being a saintly devotee, is in his transcendental knowledge, and he understands that no one is the cause of his suffering. And he begged for forgiveness for his father, to his father, even though his father did so much. And that's the symptom of a devotee. And in 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, interestingly, in the title Devotional Service, Prabhupada, Krishna mentions the few of the qualities which pleases him. Let me share that here. Few of the qualities which pleases him, actually. Even though he glorifies the devotional service, but he says, these are the qualities very much pleases to me. So it's very important that we contemplate. He says, one who is not envious, but is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always satisfied, self-controlled, and engaged in devotional service with determination, his mind and intelligence fixed on me. Such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. So many things. We may be wondering, how can we get these qualities? By engaging sincerely in devotional service, yasya deve parabhakti yatha deve tatha guru, and the spiritual masters, all these imports of the Vedic knowledge will be revealed to us, and all the good qualities will come naturally. One doesn't have to really externally work. Yeah, we can control, but more than that is engaging genuinely and sincerely in devotional service, respecting the devotees, honoring the devotees. I think that pleases more to Krishna. Vishnu Prabhu, many times he refers to this verse, Aradhananam Sarvesam, Vishnu Aradhana Param. Then he says, is Tasmat. Paratve, I forgot that he can read that Sanskrit one. It says, best is among all worships, Lord Vishnu's worship is superior. Of course, this is spoken by Lord Shiva. And better than that is worship of Tadhyanam, his devotees. His devotees' worship is very, very dear to him. And who are the devotees? Devotees, everyone who chants Krishna's name is devotee. But advanced devotees is endowed with wonderful qualities. One is not envious, but is a kind friend to all living entities. Prahlad Maharaj, when he was taught at the school by Sanda and Amarka, they were teaching in politics, right? I heard in politics, there has to be friends and enemies. So Prahlad was not very much interested in studying this. He said, it makes sense for him because he's not, that's his not nature, discriminating between, friend and enemy. So he said that he was not interested to hear about this because he has already attained that position of equilibrium, seeing everyone as equally as partial of the Supreme Lord. One, as Krishna mentions, one doesn't discriminate between friend and enemy. Paramahamsas or Uttamadhikari, who does not think himself a proprietor and is free from false ego. Proprietor means, here he says, many times people say, this is mine and that is his. And when Hiranyakashipu asked, what did you learn? So Prahlad Maharaj says, anyone who actually still think this is mine, that is his, like this way discriminates, one must go to the forest and, practice devotional service so that one can mature. That's the purpose of the human life. So one does not claim a proprietorship, and because one knows that everything belongs to Krishna and everything is using in relationship to Krishna. And this is another one, is free from false ego. False ego means I am the doer. And is equal both in happiness and distress. These are the great qualities. It's at least good to meditate on this so that we can understand. But Prahlad was endowed with all these wonderful qualities. Prabhupada, this whole chapter I can share with, maybe we can, time permits, will go through the saintly Prahlad or something like that. That is glorifying the Prahlad's qualities. All these qualities which mentioned here, we can read from him, from there. So next verse, Prabhupada writes, as Krishna says, he by whom no one is put into difficulty. He by whom no one is put into difficulty. Interestingly, Yudhishthira Maharaj is also known as Ajata Satru. Right? For whom the enemy who is not born, Ajata Satru. But, Yudhishthira Maharaj has a lot of enemies, isn't it? So many enemies. There are a lot of enemies. But Yudhishthira Maharaj himself, he never considered them, everyone, as enemy. That's the quality of a great Vaishnava. Others may give trouble to us, but from our side, we may not consider them as enemy or friend like this. We may act, for the purpose of duty, not hate or be envious or a person himself. There's a saying that you can hate the bad qualities, but not the person. So by whom no one is put into difficulty. So Prahlad Maharaj, even though he was tormented in today's purport, we read it, right? He said, so many people gave him trouble under the direction of the king, Hiranyakashipu. So neither he cursed Hiranyakashipu nor he had ill feeling about the people who actually were an instrument to punish him. Suniti also instructed the similar way to Dhruva Maharaj. That's why Dhruva Maharaj became very successful in his journey. So we are very fortunate if we have great association of devotees who can guide us in a right path. So we don't get we can proceed in the positive direction. So by whom no one is put into difficulty and who is not disturbed by anyone, who is equipped in happiness and distress, fear and anxiety, is very dear to me. So these are the great qualities is given. Of course, there are 26 qualities of Vaishnava. It is mentioned. There's a book compiled by Sasur Sai Maharaj. I have it. I don't know if it is available now or not. My devotee who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activities, who is pure, expert, without cares, free from all pains, and not striving for some result, is very dear to me. One who neither rejoices nor grieves, who neither laments nor desires, and who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things. Such a devotee is very dear to me. One who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from the contaminating association, always silent and satisfied with anything, who doesn't care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge, and who is engaged in devotional service. Such a person is very dear to me. These are the things came in 12th chapter. I thought it's very, very much beneficial to meditate on this. So Prahlad Maharaj had all these wonderful qualities. Let me share that here. I hope I have it here. Yeah, I missed it. So whole chapter is glorifying Prahlad Maharaj's wonderful qualities. When you get time, we can take a look. But today's purport is going back to today's purport. Here Prabhupada writes, yoga practice, the process of purifying one's existential identity, is based mainly on self-control. Rupa Goswami mentions, that those who are serious in self-realization, those are serious in, freeing themselves from birth and death, attaining transcendental love of Godhead, Krishna, they must control the urges, Vacha Vega Manasa, Krodha Vega, Jiva Vega, Mudra Pashta Vega, Etan Vegans, Visya Sarvam Apimam Prativimsa Sisyat. Controlling is very much needed. First of all, recognizing that we have it. Thus, before we control, recognizing we have it, this disease. That's more important. Unfortunately, not all the time we accept that I have these shortcomings. That's why many times our real friends are those who actually criticize us. We may not like it. Maybe you all can share on this. The real friends are those who actually criticize us. Or real friends are those who help us identifying our shortcomings and inspires us, to how we can progress. We do not know good can come in so many ways. Goodness can come through enemies also. We can get progress in our life through those people who are constantly criticizing us as well for our own good. Everyone in this world is supposed to be going through the purification. What is the purification here mentioned? Just as the purifying process rectifies gold of inferior quality, we all are pure souls. Originally, we all are pure souls. Just as gold is pure, but gold gets contaminated. The gold has to go through this process of purification to get the pure gold. So similarly, we being in living in this material world, we are endowed with contaminated with so many impure qualities. Like Prabhupada says, in the conditional state, every living being is envious of another living being. So that's why bhakti process is primarily, beneficial to those who are sincerely striving, want to strive. Okay, no matter what, I want to progress. Recognizing one's, weaknesses. The good quality of Diti has been glorified here because she accepted. She accepted her fault, and because of that, she's being benedicted. She's getting benediction that she will have a grandson who is a great soul, who is Prahlad, who will be endowed with all these good qualities, Vaishnava qualities, and he will be glorified along with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he will be a Mahajana. Mahajana means people will follow him, his teachings. Until now is being followed. Prahlad Maharaj was tortured by his father in so many ways. Yet, after the death of his father, he prayed for his father's liberation by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Actually, it's a very nice lesson in teaching for all of us. There will be likings and dislikings in our life, in our practice. It will be constant, not only now. It will remain in throughout in our journey. But the question is how we react to the situation. That is what is more important, subject matter. He was tortured, but he was, it's not like he was not feeling pain. We see, from these videos that Lord Vishnu always helped him. But I don't think he was not feeling at all pain, because if he doesn't feel any pain, then how one will develop the tolerance to it. But because of his faith on Lord Vishnu, he is always there to help, to protect him and to glorify him. That's my understanding. And devotees experience the pains and pleasures. It's not like they don't experience, but they don't get disturbed with that. I would, maybe, you all can share on this subject. Vishnu Prabhu also can share on this subject. I found it very inspiring, this whole context of Diti. Diti did committed some mistake, but she lamented and she did not have any ill feelings. She, in fact, prayed for good, prayed for benediction from Lord Shiva, Kashyap Muni, Supreme Personality of Godhead, even though she heard that the Lord will kill her children. Even though she heard the Lord will kill her children, or Lord will be the cause of her children's death, and she did not protest or anything. So I'll stop it here. I will open for any comments, questions, corrections. Vishnu, you want to say something, please?
Hare Krishna Kirtan Prabhu. So this pastime activities of Srimad Bhagavatam, it reinforces the verse from the Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna says, Api chet sudaracharo, bhajate mam ananya bhak, sadhur eva samantavya samyak vavasito hisa. Sudarachara. Durachara means a bad activity, and sudarachara means a very bad activity. Even if someone has done a very bad activity, then if they continue to engage in devotional service, bhajate mam ananya bhak, sadhu. They have to be considered saintly. So here in this pastime, Diti is like that. She committed this bad activity, but then she continued to engage in service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as Kashyapa Muni says, and her husband, and appreciated the function of Lord Shiva. So she was still appreciated and got the benediction of having Prahlad Maharaj as her grandson and Bali Maharaj as her great-great-grandson. And it's also interesting, as Acharya Prabhu mentioned yesterday, later, the same Diti, although she said that she's happy that her sons would be killed directly, not just by the arrangement, but directly by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then later she became envious and angry at Indra for his hand in doing so, arranging this. So she tried to do a sacrifice that would kill Indra. You know this.
Yeah.
And she asked her husband, Kashyapa, well, what can I do? Well, I want to do a sacrifice that can kill Indra. And he realized that, she's gone off the track now. And he gave her a different sacrifice. Anyway, it was a change-up kind of thing. Anyway, that's very interesting. So, yeah. So if one does some improper act like this, then the thing was mentioned, penitence, which means feeling sorry, lamenting, and then continuing to engage in Krishna service. There's nothing else, no other atonement other than that for any deviation from Krishna consciousness. Another question could be asked, because Srila Prabhupada says that there was no, even though Prahlad Maharaj was tortured in so many ways by his father, he never cursed his father back. In other places, he said he didn't retaliate. They didn't retaliate. So sometimes in the Vedic literature in Srimad Bhagavatam, although there's not retaliation recommended necessarily, sometimes when a person is unjustly or unfairly accused, then there's some action taken to right the misinformation. For example, when Krishna was accused of killing Prashena, the brother of Satrajit, because Satrajit, he was so attached to the Shamantaka jewel that he thought, and Krishna said, well, you should give it to Ugrasena. Just the thought that he should give it up was shocking. So then when the Shamantaka jewel went missing, he blamed Krishna immediately. But Krishna took the trouble, even though he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he took the trouble to correct the mistake by tracking down what really happened to the jewel. Remember?
Yeah.
He tracked it down. He used his forensic techniques to get the jewel back and return it to Satrajit. And Satrajit at that time became very, very ashamed that he had improperly accused Krishna. So that was one instance. Another instance is when Lord Chaitanya was traveling to Vrindavan from Puri, the Mayavadi sannyasis in Benares were blaspheming and accusing him of being a sentimentalist. He's chanting and dancing just like it's like a cinema show. What is this? He's supposed to be a sannyasi, a renounced person. He's singing and dancing with all these sentimentalists. But Lord Chaitanya, and then he took the time to go to this Mayavadi sannyasis and explain the actual truth from the Shastra, what happened, what's going on. That the chanting of the holy names is the real process of spiritual advancement in this age of Kali. He referenced his spiritual master telling him, "You're a fool, and you cannot understand the Vedanta Sutra. You should simply keep the chanting of the holy names always in your throat." So he took some effort to set the record straight. Would you recommend that, or would you recommend just as Prahlad Maharaj? He tolerated. He didn't curse. He didn't. Of course, he wasn't accused specifically of certain crimes. Perhaps we don't know that. So, what would you say in reference to that?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for bringing this Lord Krishna's, the Samantaka jewels pastime. That's a very good lesson that it's good that we have to clarify. It's good to have clarification so that there's no misunderstanding. Or if in something wrong in our part, begging forgiveness, all these things are in a community and society looks like it's needed. With regards to Prahlad Maharaj, this level, he's very advanced stage, I think. We also glorify Haridas Thakur, how even though so much of obstacles came in his chanting, in his sadhana, he was beaten in so many marketplaces. Those are the qualities manifest based on one's level of advance. I think I cannot imitate that, because somebody will hit me. My reaction will be, maybe I can tolerate once, twice, and then I have to, stop it or something like that. That's my nature at this time. And but as we advance in spiritually, we will develop that nature, I'm thinking, because even in the past time, in the conversation between Rahugan and Jadbharat said, Rahugan put him in, lifting this palanquin. So Jadbharat said, I'm not lifting. I'm unaffected by this. That's really eye-opening for me. How can he say he's unaffected by this? So he was completely on the spiritual platform. They were unaffected. By constant practicing, by following the sadhana bhakti properly, and our sadhana bhakti properly is also very important. That is sure that we will attain those stages of the great souls which they have attained. That's my understanding. Prahlad, I cannot imitate Prahlad. So, am I right or no? But we can learn, we get inspiration from there, and gradually we will develop those qualities. Mahajana Yenagata, by following the great souls, those qualities will manifest. 20 years back, 30 years back, we didn't add this and at all good qualities. So at least we can see in our life, by becoming devotees, coming in devotee association, so much of transformation happened. So in another 20 years, more transformation will happen. I'm assuming. So that's what I understand. Please suggest. What do you think?
You're asking me?
Yeah, you think, am I right?
Those things are correct. I mean, we do want to, although we don't want to imitate Prahlad Maharaj, we want to try to follow his example, certainly. And not just Prahlad Maharaj, but Srila Prabhupada also. I mean, it's similar. It's very, yeah. So my question was a little different. My question was, would you categorize Krishna's method? He went to investigate what happened to the Shamataka jewel. He could have just accepted, Shatrajit has accused me of murder. Okay, I didn't really murder anybody, and so what? So he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But he didn't do that. He went and did some investigation. So but of course that's Krishna. He's the God, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We're not the Supreme Personality of Godhead, of course. So say somebody say Krishna Kirtan is accused of murder. Okay, you don't bring it to the police, say, but there's just this background of talk. Oh, Krishna Kirtan, I think he killed this person over, not in the United States, but in Orissa, when he was there. I'm making this up just to make it very clear. This has nothing in reality. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so people are saying that, yeah, this is what's going on. That's what. So would it be retaliation for you to try to clear up the situation, or so the devotee just allow it to go on and tolerate it just because they know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and whatever happens will happen, and we're not, people will accuse me and whatever, that's all right.
Yeah.
So that's the question, that's
So Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, but still he was acting on a platform of human beings. So he set a lot of examples. So for us as well. So for us, by clarifying things, it helps us in our devotional service. We get a lot of cooperation, and we also let it go, and we progress, because in our path of devotion we should not be distracted at any cost of time. We should not forget for what purpose I'm here for. Distractions will come in our path. It's a constant distraction comes, it is certain. But putting some efforts, clarifying things so that we individually and collectively can progress in spiritual life, that is pretty much required. On the other hand, in this material world, as I understand, everything doesn't happen just like we think is supposed to happen this way. Even if you do not harm anyone, the things will come to us for our own purification, to test. Prahlad Maharaj did not hurt anybody, but things came to him. Yudhishthira Maharaj did not hurt anybody. Things came to him. So I think it's a part of purification process. One is, as a devotees, not forgetting the goal and purpose of life, still act in such a way that anything needed we do in such a way that either individually or collectively we do not deviate from the purpose of life, is attaining Krishna Prema. Retaliation, then we are deviating, we'll deviate from the purpose. But I strongly believe that in Krishna's, from that example also I take it, clarification is always needed. If somebody has misunderstanding, we clarify it. Only for the sake of not to prove that I am right, somebody is wrong, or somebody is wrong, or I am wrong, someone is right, for the sake of progressing in spiritual life. Otherwise, this world is full of confusions, misunderstandings, especially in the Kali Yuga. We may do so many things in family, in society, in job, in a community. We do it, so many things. But it's natural that other person may not understand our intention, intention of what we are doing. So at least we have to leave something for Krishna as well. That's the Krishna's will. That's what I see that, because we cannot convince a whole world, but at least we can try to convince in the community where we practice devotee, so that our journey will be very smooth. Even Lord Krishna was criticized. This is not the example, criticized so many times. Sisupal, so many people criticize Lord Krishna all the time. It's a great lesson. He proved it. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He can do it. We will do in our own way, removing. And I think every one of us going through it in smaller, bigger scale. Everyone, no one can deny that, people may have a wrong perception about us, or we may have a wrong perception about others. And if those becomes obstacle in spiritual path, it's nice that sitting together and clarifying so that we progress. It's not a hindrance, or we don't deviate from the real purpose of our life. I'm sorry, I hope it didn't take a long time. Thank you, Vishnu, for your comments. Somebody have Pranath, go ahead, please.
Hare Krishna. I was just thinking about this question that Vishnugada Prabhuji asked, and I know the example was given about Krishna, but I was thinking about any other examples that I could remember. Then I was remembering Parikshit Maharaj. You know, he could have
Counter curse.
negated the curse, but he did not choose to do so. Then even Srivas Thakur's example is there when Brahman Gopal Chapala had put paraphernalia of Durga, but he laughed off. He did not retaliate or try to prove that that was wrong. He just laughed off. So I'm just thinking, this is my little bit realization on this question, is that maybe we make a couple of attempts to try and clarify, but sometimes in spite of our best efforts, if it is not meant to be clarified, it's not.
Yeah.
So at that point, maybe we try to remember Prahlad Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj, and Srivas Thakur, and not imitate, but tolerate like them.
Yeah.
Make some efforts, but in spite of our best efforts, if something is not getting, then we accept it as the will of the Lord.
Yes.
That's what my take
very,
on that situation.
Very nice. Thank you for sharing that. Because at any cost, you cannot deviate from the real purpose what we are doing, right? Yeah, that's great point. And Chaitanya Chaitamrita is our example is for us for now to take what you gave a good example, yes. And ultimately, I see that ultimately everything is done for our own purification. When no one is bothering us, everybody is quiet, I'm not married and wife and children are not bothering to me, everything nice, then what purification will happen? The reality will come when I face the challenges. So it's not now, it was in the past, it is now, it is going to be in future. It's with us and with other living entities. Everyone has to go through this purification. That's the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam also, that will be churned, in this process. Will be churned to the purifying process. Just like example for the gold has been given. Gold has to go through, so much of process, to get purification. But as the devotees together, we all will definitely progress. Yeah. Vishnu, you want to say something?
Yeah, these two examples are good examples. A little detail, though, is with Srivas Thakur. This Gopal Chapala put paraphernalia for worshiping Durga outside his house.
Yeah.
And so when people walk by in the morning, they say, oh, he's a Durga worshiper. So it's very interesting that at that time in Navadvip, people, somebody who was a Durga worshiper was considered low class. Of course, nowadays it wouldn't be that way. But anyway, but he came out, and then there were some respectable citizens walking by, and he showed them, oh, see, I'm a Durga worshiper. Of course, they knew that he wasn't a Durga worshiper. There was no question about it, and they understood that this must have been done by an envious person, right? So it wasn't that they thought, oh, that this person, we've been convinced that this is. You follow? It's a little different. And what happened to Gopal Chapala? He got leprosy. He got leprosy. Yeah. And with Parikshit Maharaj, it's very interesting because Parikshit Maharaj did put the snake on Shamak Rishi. He did put it, and it was observed by his son. And he accepted that. He accepted himself. He knew this was the wrong thing to do. It was the wrong thing to do. The mistake was by Shringi to punish him excessively for that minor mistake of disrespect of his father. That was, and what happened with Shringi is some people say, oh, because it was the Leela of Krishna and Parikshit Maharaj and Shukadev Goswami to speak Srimad Bhagavatam, so that Shringi didn't get any reaction from that. Not true. Shringi was he had to suffer so his father Shamak Rishi prayed to Lord Krishna to please forgive my son because he was just young. So apparently the father's prayers were effective and he didn't have to suffer. Shringi didn't have to suffer, but the Brahminical class as a group had to suffer because of the mistake of Shringi. So, I mean, there's some details there that are a little different than just, it wasn't just end at acceptance. Of course, Parikshit Maharaj did accept that that was a result of his activities, but there were other things around that too. But to correct, he didn't try to say, oh, I didn't put a snake on his father. I didn't say that. No.
I think even though some of the examples are given situation, my understanding that every devotee, every living entity who is striving for devotional service has to go this way or that way, the purification process. So it's like a Srivas Thakur, he had to go through. Of course, he is a pure devotee, but still, as an example, he had to go through this. But doesn't mean that we should not think, oh, I should be the cause of others' purification. That's the wrong thing. Oh, everybody has to go through purification, I should put them in trouble. No, that's the wrong thing. That's Gopal Chappal, what he did, it is, he offended. He offended. If not Gopal Chappal, someone else would have done it anyway. So in devotional service, we learned that we should not do such mistakes to Vaishnavas. That's why he got leprosy. Practice has to be done very, very carefully. That's why as soon as we go to the temple and we leave the temple also, we offer Vancha Kalpatarivascha Kripasin Divevacha Pattanam Pavneva Vaishnaviva Namana. It's genuinely, because knowingly, unknowingly, we may have offended. And in fact, I know the Ranchar will raise the hand, just 1 minute. When we enter in the devotee association itself, temple premises, and even deep appreciation has to be there, knowing that this association is the instrument of my purification. Yes, please. Dhanacharya, please go ahead. You're there? We cannot hear you. You're mute.
Sorry about that. I was on mute. Thank you for having this conversation. I think this is an important discussion for our Vaishnava relationships. One thing that I've learned is that, if we declare our intention up front, there's nothing wrong with that. Because the one thing that's misinterpreted so much is our intention. One person does an action, another person immediately draws a conclusion. Oh, your intention is this. And a lot of times this is because we're very self-centered in this material world. But if we do, and the other thing is that none of us are super soul. We're not Paramatma. We don't know what's in the other person's heart. But yet we make the judgment of what is in the other person's heart. So at least declaring your intention, I believe, making your statement, this is the reason I'm doing what I'm doing. This is the way that I'm, perceiving the situation. At least there's clarity. Otherwise, it's going on internally. We're making those judgments internally, right? and then that is internal judgments turn into eventually gossip, and then from gossip, then rumors, begin to grow. So it seems that at least initially, there should be some action or activity of clarification, and this way, at least the mind can at least begin to process, can be at least calm. Otherwise, the mind becomes very disturbed, and then from there, the mind starts creating all these different scenarios and circumstances. And then when you add more people, their minds start creating more circumstances and scenarios. So it seems like initially there should be some declaration of intention and clarification.
Well, that's why it is said one has to first of all, bhakti has to be practiced very carefully. We cannot pretend to be ignorant. It has to be practiced very carefully. And our intention is, the Shastras clears it, and we have to be focused. Vyavasayatmika buddhi. Again and again, mind will be distracted here and there. Intention should be, for people who have with knowledge, that I'm here to serve Krishna and his devotees. Very much. That should be the intention. Has to be there. And everything, all other things are serve. They are not primary. They are just subservient to the goal. Here is my sambandha, avideya and prayajana. Prayajana is my goal. Avideya should be subservient to my prayajana. So similarly, every activity I'm doing in my journey, so many things will come. I have to see everything in relationship to Krishna and in my journey. Then there'll be harmony. And we are discussing all these things for not only now, in the past it has happened, in future will happen, continue to happen. How we just have to be focused. Intention should be anya abhilasita sanyam. I think intention means we can really translate to anya abhilasa, right? Free from any other motives. Anya abhilasita sanyam jnana karmadhya nivritam. So, am I understanding right? Dronacharya Prabhu, intention means our intention should be in spiritual progress, pleasing to Krishna, and by pleasing his devotees. So that should be
ideally, yes, but that's not always the case.
right.
Right. And even if it's not the case, still one should, reveal one's intention. At least that way there could be clarification. But like you said, as through our practice of sadhana bhakti, we should at least we should be guided to have that intention free from attachment. And with that, we can also take the advice of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur to look at ourselves first. Right? That maybe there is some fault in what I've done. Maybe there is some situation that I've created. Let me examine first myself. I found that to be helpful. Sometimes very challenging, but very helpful.
We are in the great path, and we are learning all this thing every day in our spiritual progress. And I'm very grateful for everyone's association, extremely grateful. Without all of your association, Srimad Bhagavatam, what would have been our life? And these lessons from Diti, Prahlad Maharaj, and it's shaping our identity. That's why I'm very grateful. Thank you, Dronacharya Prabhu, Pranath Prabhu, and Vishnugata Prabhu. And sorry, others, please excuse me. We didn't get enough time to discuss. Maybe we can discuss later. So we stop it here. It's 9:01. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, bro. It was a good discussion. I really enjoyed it. Thank you, Vishnugata Prabhu and Pranath Prabhu, for your adding to the discussion.
ग्रंथराजस्मन् भागवतम की जय। श्री कृष्ण की जय। वंशा
Sure.